And what is up, guys? We are back again for a new tutorial. I have once again partnered up with Black Lotus Audio, and today we will be looking at some bass post-processing. We have a bass growl from Black Lotus Audio Odyssey. There is a link down below in the description for the preset. Check out the pack. I'm not going to even get started on this pack. You guys have heard what I have to say about it. So check out the pack, grab the preset, and I'm going to show you some of my favorite bass post-processing techniques, my workflow, and also at the very end some couple maybe more unconventional plugins that you can use to spice up your growl game. So without further ado, let's dive to the tutorial. I'm going to use this bass growl as a starting point for this tutorial. This is what it sounds like. So as you can hear, it sounds pretty cool already, but we are going to make some magic happen with post-processing. Now let me go to the effects and turn off the reverb and chorus. We want really dry sound as a starting point for our bass growl, so this is what it will sound. It's good to have pretty dry sound when applying post-processing, because all the post-processing techniques that we are applying on this patch might be accentuating like reverbs, or in this case delays, so better to just take those off. Here I have a MIDI clip of the bass sound and I'm going to choose it. We are going to start by applying some basic pitch bend to this sound. So I'm going to go to Vital and create automation clip. And since we have this selection, the automation clip will be nice and short. So for this sound, I'm going to do slight pitch bend like that. Pull this a little bit down, this a little bit up, and let's hear it. That sounds pretty cool. The next thing you need to do is to route this to a mixer track. On my project, this is going to this L1, which is routed to bass 2. We are going to need 2 mixer tracks for this one. So down here below you can route mixer tracks to each other. And let's start by applying OTT. OTT is pretty much a standard for modern bass growls and EDM. I'm going to pull down depth and also pull down the high threshold, and let's hear the effect. So without. Also we could pull up the time just to avoid any clicking. The next thing to add is some distortion. Now you can use your favorite distortion, whether it be Camel Crusher, Isotope Trash, or Fruity Wave Shaper. I'm going to use Little Radiator from SoundToy. This is my favorite distortion / dry plugin. As I mentioned, you can use whatever distortion plugin you'd like to use. I'm going to pull down the distortion amount and then also pull down the mix, and let's hear it. So after that I'm going to apply some more OTT, and this time we are only going to apply very slight amount around there. Pull up the time and also pull down the high threshold. Now with all of these effects we are adding some gain, so it's best to compensate for the gain increase on the plugins. So I'm at -9 without any effects and a little bit over -9 with the effects. That's not too bad yet, but let's keep that in mind. Next thing I like to do is to use Vocoding. Before we tweak the Vocoding, I'm going to add another OTT and decrease the volume, because Vocoding adds a lot of volume to the sound, so it's better to decrease it afterwards. Let's pull down the order and bands also. I'm going to increase the wet and also increase this bandwidth. Let's try out this modulator bandwidth multiplier. And I'm going to pull down this and tick off all of these. Let's pull down the release. I'm going to go to band distribution, tick off this step editing. And bend this curve a little bit. Now let's go to the bandwidth and turn back on the step editing. Now here you can do all sorts of cool things, so we can just try out and try to come up with something cool. I think something like this works. And now I'm going to take this bandwidth and I'm going to right click it and create automation clip. We still have this selection, so the automation is going to be nice and short. Let's do this following shape. Or we could try it the other way. Now we could also automate this modulator bandwidth. So create automation and that's pretty cool. I'm going to apply some distortion right after our Vocoding. So like the last time, you can use whatever, but I'm going to apply the little radiator, and let's put it right before the OTT and after the Vocoding. Now this sounds pretty good. Let's compare it to where we started. I think we have a little bit too much low end and maybe a little bit too much stuff happening on the highs, so let's take fruity parametric EQ. Let's pull it right after the Vocoding. Now I'm going to pull down highs a little bit, and let's see if we can take a little bit away from the low end. Now let's compare it again to the original. We are a little bit quieter than the original, so I'm going to turn our gain back up. It's already sounding much more organic. Now, at this point, there is a lot of possibilities. This is really like the basic setup. We could go to the second effect slot and over here add reverb. And with the reverb on the basses, it's good to have really short reverb just to add some air or space or whatever to the sound. So let's pull down the time. And also I'm going to choose probably room or chamber. Let's pull down attack and add low cut and take some of the highs out. Like always, you can use as an example Fruity Reverb, but this is my favorite reverb plugin. I like it. Let's pull down the size. And now we can pull down the mix. Like that, it makes it come alive a little bit more. Now, that's really the basic setup, but we could do some really cool stuff with a plugin called Disperser. Over here, I'm going to drag this to the forefront of our chain, right before the little radiator, and let's pull down the pinch. This is a really cool plugin by Kilohertz, and I'm going to show you guys what we can do with it. Already it's adding some like wet texture to the sound, but let's take this frequency and create automation clip. Also, I'm going to take this pinch and create automation clip. And now we are actually going to add a new disperser and have it above this old one. I'm going to take this new one and link it to controller, and we are going to choose the frequency of the old one, accept, and take the pinch and link it to controller and link it to pinch. Also be sure to have these remove conflicts ticked off, so you won't take off the old link with this disperser. Except now both of these dispersers are controlled by these automations over here. So now we can try out some cool stuff. Let's hear what it sounds like at the moment. Pretty cool. Let's try something like this. I'm quite happy with that. Let's compare it to the one without the dispersers. So as you can hear, it adds a lot of texture to the sound. And now what we could do is we could move this OTT before the little radiator and after the dispersers, just to accentuate the effect that the dispersers have without the drive or saturation. It makes huge difference. Now we are not done yet, guys, so this is the cool stuff. Now let's go to the effects. At this part I'd like to add some width to this sound. You could use stereo widener, chorus, whatever. I'm going to use plugin called Microshift by SoundChoice, and I'm going to use this preset called Lead Spread Mixed, and let's hear the effect. I'm going to pull down this mix and let's listen to the effect now. It adds a little bit stereo wideness to the sound. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to add crystallizer. This is a really cool plugin with a lot of possibilities, not for growls, but hey, let's try it on this one. I'm going to use this preset called Nice Chorus, and we are going to pull down the mix. And it just widens the sound just a little bit. Let's switch these up so the crystallizer is in front of Microshift, and I'm quite happy with the sound, but let's see if we could do some more to it. Let's add sausage fattener before the crystallizer and Microshift. And I'm going to pull down the gain. And I think we need some more OTT. So with this OTT, I'm going to pull up the time and pull down the depth. I'm going to pull down the gain just a little bit to compensate. Also, we could add some EQ to the sound. Let's take out the harsh frequencies. Let's add some highs. I'm liking this sound. We could boost up this for 1 dB just to be on that 9 dB mark. And let's hear the effect all of this post-processing had to our sound. So here is without post-processing, and here is with post-processing. Pretty cool, huh? So that's it for this tutorial. I could do more of these post-processing tutorials if you guys are interested. And I hope you guys learned something new from this tutorial. Check out the links down below. Check out Odysseia. It's the #1 vital melodic dubstep preset pack, let me tell you. So check out that and stay tuned for the next uploads. See you guys.